Current science, as you know, is based on the philosophy of naive realism. And naive realism, one of the tenets of naive realism is that there is something called an observer independent reality. All of science has been based on that, and that has also been the Newtonian worldview. But quantum physics opened the window to a less deterministic world where there is no observer independent reality, um, because it's not possible to have an observer independent reality or experience. And this is because the observer and observed become entangled in every observation. The act of observation itself creates a specific reality. In the absence of an observer, the universe would exist as a superposition of all possible states without any definite outcome. The wave function would not collapse, and there would be no single objective reality. Instead, the universe would be in a state of quantum superposition with all possible outcomes existing simultaneously. I said this 30 years ago and got vilified for it when I said, without the observer, the universe is a radically ambiguous and ceaselessly flowing quantum soup. People said, mumbo jumbo, Deepak speak, and all that, Richard Dawkins calling me a willful obscurantist. So, this doesn't mean that reality is subjective or the observer can suddenly choose their own reality. That's going that's that could be called sometimes new age mumbo jumbo. There are nuances to this. The answers given by the world are independent of the observer. When observers communicate and their realities become entangled, a shared reality emerges. Okay, what I'm saying is that what we call the objective reality is an intersubjective experience. And that intersubjective experience often depends on the mode of knowing. The answers given by the world are therefore not independent of the observer. In the previous sentence, I said they are independent of the observer. No, the answers given by the world are not independent of the observer. When observers communicate and their realities become entangled, a shared reality emerges. So, in summary, the universe cannot be said to have an objective, observer independent reality. The act of observation is necessary to create a specific reality, and in the absence of an observer, the universe exists as a superposition of all possible states. What does this really mean? Okay, what does this really mean that the observer creates reality? And where is the observer? So when I ask scientists, where is the observer? They say, here, this is the observer. No, this is also the observed. You, in consciousness, observe your body, don't you? So your body can't be the observer. Your mind can't be the observer either. The mind can observe thoughts. Awareness or consciousness can observe thoughts. So this is where Vedanta and Eastern philosophies really help. The observer is consciousness. Okay? The observer modifies itself into the experience of mind, intellect, and ego, which is frequently referred to as the subtle body. So the subtle body is an object of observation. Mind, intellect, and ego are objects of observation. And then the subtle body projects the physical body, which is also an object of observation. And because we have five senses, this is entangled with the observation of what we call the physical world. Okay, so mind, body, and what we call the physical world are a unified process in the one observer. But depending on the mind, the body, because we know we have species specific minds, there are species specific worlds. And these species specific worlds entangle with each other in an ecosystem of observed worlds where there is some um, overlap in the experiences between different species. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to interact with other species. But the exact world that a particular species inhabits is entangled with that particular species' body and mind. I hope this is not confusing you. The subject is only one, but its modes of observation, minds, intellects, egos, bodies, are innumerable within a species, within a culture, and across cultures, and then in the ecosystem of every sentient being or biological organism, which is an entangled, differentiated expression of the one observer. The one observer modulates itself and differentiates itself into infinite knowers, infinite modes of knowing, and infinite objects observed. The objects themselves are modified forms of that one consciousness. Why is this important? It's important because naive realism actually imprisons us into the idea that we are squeezed into the volume of a body and the span of a lifetime. But if we identify with that one observer and also its mode of observation, which is the human mind, intellect, ego, and the body, and the five senses, then we can begin to choose our reality, not from the level of the mind, from the level of consciousness. That is the only way to choose reality and to exercise what is called free will. Free will is an expression of identifying with the awareness, the subject of experience, and then from there choosing possibilities. And before you choose possibilities, they all exist in a superposition of possibilities. So this is the window to free will. And ultimately, actually, if we really understand this, at a point comes where even that is not necessary. You have freedom in just being the witness of all that happens as awareness. And when you're the witness of all that happens as awareness, then there is spontaneous right choice making, spontaneous free will, and spontaneous intentionality, and spontaneous right action, and spontaneous evolution. Now, I know I've said a lot of things. You may have to think about this, or if this is not of interest to you, you can discard it. It's the usual Deepak Chopra mumbo jumbo.